What if I told you that pretty much everything you think you know about entrepreneurs is just wrong? Today, we are going to tear up that Hollywood script and get into the real playbook for starting a business.
So, when you hear the word entrepreneur, what pops into your head? Come on, be honest. Is it that young tech genius in a hoodie, right? Coding the next big thing in a garage? Or maybe it's the super serious tycoon in a fancy suit, making these billion-dollar bets.
Well, let me tell you, the reality of who can actually become an entrepreneur is way more interesting, way more diverse, and frankly, a whole lot more accessible than you've probably been led to believe. Okay, so let's do this. Let's separate the myths from the actual reality. We're going to dig into some solid research here and build a real-world playbook that actually works.
All right, first things first, we got to clear the air. We're about to tackle the 5 biggest, most stubborn myths about entrepreneurs. Head on. You ready? Let's get into it. Okay, this first one, it's a biggie. It's this idea that some people are just born for business, right? Like they have some special entrepreneur gene. But what does the research actually say about that? The truth is, entrepreneurship is not a genetic lottery. Not at all. Research shows again and again that it's a skill. It's forged by your environment, your experiences, and the choices you make. And you know what that means? It means anyone, and I really mean anyone, has the potential to become one.
All right, next up. We love to picture founders as these high-stakes gamblers, right? Betting the entire farm on one single idea. I mean, it makes for a great movie plot, but it's a really misleading picture.
Here's the thing. Successful entrepreneurs are pretty much the opposite of gamblers. They're calculated risk managers. They don't just leap into the void and hope for the best. No way. They build the parachute first. They're all about systematically finding and reducing uncertainty, making sure the odds are stacked in their favor.
So is it really all about the money? The fancy cars, the private jets. I mean, don't get me wrong, financial rewards are a pretty nice perk, but it's almost never the main thing driving them. The real drivers, they're way more personal. When you actually ask founders why they did it, 2 answers pop up over and over and over. They wanted to be their own boss, and they had this burning passion to bring an idea to life. The money? That's just a byproduct of doing something they love, not the end game.
Oh man, pop culture just loves the story of the young founder, doesn't it? The college dropout who totally changes the world from their dorm room. It's a great story for sure. But what does the actual data tell us about the age of entrepreneurs?
Well, the reality is fascinating. If you look at the numbers over 2 decades, from 1996 all the way to 2018, the percentage of young founders, it actually went down. Meanwhile, the 55 to 64 age group, it grew a lot.
Get this, by 2018, the single biggest group of new entrepreneurs was between 55 and 64 years old. Crazy, right? So why is that? Well, it's because investors love experience, they value maturity, and they want a proven track record. All things that, tend to come with age.
Okay, we can all probably name a few super famous, kind of flamboyant entrepreneurs, right? The ones who seem to be in the news like every single day. But here's the question. Are they the norm, or are they just the exception to the rule?
The truth is, for every one of those celebrity CEOs, there are thousands, literally thousands of successful founders working quietly behind the scenes. I mean, think about it. Can you name the people who founded Netflix or Spotify or Reddit? We use their stuff every single day, but their creators aren't exactly household names. Why? Because the vast majority of founders are focused on building the business, not their personal brand.
Okay, so if entrepreneurs aren't born, then what are they made of? Now that we've busted all those myths, let's dig into the real DNA of a successful founder. It really boils down to 4 key things. First up, you've got to have genuine passion. That's the fuel that's going to get you through the tough times. And trust me, there will be tough times. Second, a relentless focus on the customer, because a product without a customer is just a hobby. Third, you need tenacity. That's just plain old grit, the ability to get knocked down and get right back up over and over again. And finally, what's called execution intelligence. That's the magic ingredient, the ability to take a great idea and actually turn it into a real working business.
All right, so we know what a founder is made of, but it's super important to understand that not all startups are the same, not even close. They have totally different goals, and knowing the difference is key.
First up, you've got what are called salary substitute firms. So think of like a freelance accountant, a local hair salon, or a small neighborhood shop. The main goal here? It's simple.
to give the owner a steady, reliable income that's about the same as they'd make in a regular job.
Next, we have lifestyle firms. Now, these are the businesses that are built completely around a personal passion. This could be a ski instructor opening their own school, or maybe a tour guide who's obsessed with history, or a personal trainer. The whole point is to make a living doing what you absolutely love, and to build a career that fits the lifestyle you want to live.
And finally, we have entrepreneurial firms. These are the classic disruptors we hear so much about. These are the companies that are aiming for crazy fast growth by bringing something totally new to the market. Think scalable tech startups. You know, the real game changers.
You know, that old stereotype of the entrepreneur, it's not just wrong, it's also incredibly outdated. So, let's take a quick look at who's actually starting businesses right now.
The face of entrepreneurship is changing, and it is changing fast. We're seeing this explosive growth in startups founded by women and by minorities. We already talked about how senior entrepreneurs are a huge force, right? And younger generations, they have a massive appetite for building their own thing. Look, this isn't just a trend. It's a fundamental shift, and it's making the whole ecosystem way more innovative and dynamic.
So what does all this mean for you? Well, it means the entrepreneurial journey isn't some big secret or some mystical quest. Nope, it's a process. And that process can be broken down into a really clear 4-step playbook.
And this is it. This is the playbook. Step 1 is just making the decision. Are you really ready to trade security for autonomy? Step 2 is all about ideas, constantly spotting problems in the world and coming up with creative ways to solve them. Step 3 is when you make the leap from just an idea to a real thing, building that first product and getting it into the hands of your first customers. And step 4, well, that's the marathon. Managing, growing, and scaling the company you've worked so hard to build.
So, there you have it. The myths are busted, the real characteristics are clear, and the path forward is laid out right in front of you. The only question left is, what's your next move?